Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Tonight's show started off in one direction and ended up in a completely other. So as we get into this, I guess tonight's show will pretty much be a discussion on XinFIn's XDC. A lot of exciting news coming out. So if you're a retail investor and you're holding XDC in your wallet, you might be pretty excited about tonight's show from start to finish. I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit to make my point and show connections to show again all of the excitement that Andre Casterman has been releasing on, in regards to XinFIn's XDC recently, saying how they have a lot of new partnerships and they would be releasing them over the next few weeks. But as we're getting into that, I had come up on a few articles and kind of kept stumbling back and forth. And honestly, the entire show began discussion on Ripple's XRP and Stellar XLM. And I started connecting right into XDC. And it just kept getting so massively large. I just had so many open tabs across the top. I think we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 I've brought it down to tonight. I'm going to be very brief and very quick with them once I get rolling. But just to let you know right up front, it was probably triple that. And I just had to shut it down and kind of make a focus. So it just wasn't like half scattered through all of them. And I believe, if you follow this channel, you're probably a holder of this asset anyway, because as we've discussed many times, the favorites of this channel: XRP wholesale, XLM retail, XDC TradeFinex, and VET supply chain. And we've shown how their connection is that they're not limited to, but they are focused on. And that's very exciting because as we've shown, they are in different lanes, and it's going to take many assets to pull this off and for all of this entire new digital future to be successful. And I believe in a low range, I would say there'd probably be about 50 successful, and mentally in a high range, I would say probably close to 200. That's where I've been from day one, and we'll see how that goes. And again, when 1,000 cryptocurrencies was high, I think now we're already somewhere exceeding over 8,000 cryptocurrencies available. So again, we're going to see how this plays out, but so far we've been right on track for the past few years, and we're very excited about that. Again, here to keep you level-headed and stable. And I'm not saying you don't enjoy all of the riddles, but I'm just saying we're here to keep you balanced and get basically across the finish line. I think it's great to get a handful of different perspectives. It's kind of like a, dinner. You're going to want a little bit something different every time, but you're always going to want to have your meat and potatoes, so to speak. So again, this is all for fun. Keep occupied. I think, to be honest, probably 3 to 5 different perspectives daily. It's probably a really solid thing. And there's so many different personalities and so many, different, like shows and channels that I think it would keep everybody excited. I'm not maxi anything. I'm not a my channel only or my asset only. I think the more content you have, if your, channel is reliable, and you know what I mean by that, if they're very accurate, then I think the more content that you can get, the more knowledgeable for doing your own research you'll be, and more stable you'll be for your investments. Okay, enough of that rambling on, guys. I'm just going to dive right in. I got a handful of tabs to zip through, and I think we're going to start moving quickly from now. All right, R3 Corda now has a bridge to public blockchains with the arrival of Ethereum-based XDC. Enterprise software company R3's Corda network, backed by many of the world's largest banks, is following the general trend towards public-facing blockchains. So a group of former RBS bankers, now known as Lab 577, is bridging the way for Exchange Infinite, which is XinFIN, a blockchain focused on the trade finance space. And again, you hear that over and over and over again. It's focused on the trade finance space. So its native token, the Ethereum compatible XDC, will be used as a settlement coin inside Corda. So if you're having deja vu, Dazzle previously introduced a prototype token on Corda called XDC, but later the ticker to avoid confusion with the aforementioned trade finance token. Now Dazzle is acting as a handmaiden for XDC and its community. And I think, if you've been here long enough, that was a really confusing moment. And about the same time is about when XinFIN was shutting down XDCE, give or take around that time, you're having to swap it out for XDC because of the hack. And then we had on Corda a double XDC thing going on at the same time. So that was a very, very confusing. But back into the article, the first currency across is XDC, but this lays the groundwork to connect Corda to ERC20s and other cryptocurrency networks, said Lab 577 director Richard Cook. What you see here is the age-old challenge of interoperability being solved. And then next up, we're going to have Standard Chartered is now part of the Global Digital Finance Alliance. And I've got a few things highlighted throughout because I wanted to make a point as we go out through the video. So Standard Chartered is now part of the Global Digital Finance Alliance. And this is all going to connect here shortly. So the leading British financial institution, Standard Chartered, reportedly became the first bank to join the Global Digital Finance, the GDF, Patron board. Stan Chart, together with the rest of the members, will work together to accelerate the adoption of best practices across the digital assets landscape. So that's a great movement forward. And then if you go right into the GDF IO global members and partners, you have Standard Chartered, R3 right there. There's a whole lot and a whole list of others, but just to briefly get through all of these tabs and make a point and share a lot of bullish excitement, I'm going to keep on moving forward. So Standard Chartered launches digital blockchain trade finance platform in Singapore. For me, that was like a double bell going off. You had Standard Chartered with a trade finance and out of Singapore. So a joint venture between Asia Heavy Bank and a Chinese supply chain tech player aims to make trade finance an alternative asset class with digital efficiency. And again, you have XinFIN based right out of Singapore, and we've just shown what is their finance, or their focus is trade finance. And this is where I'm going to have a little fun here. Standard Chartered and Linkologis to offer blockchain-based trade finance platform. And again, there's the bells setting off the the trade finance. You have Standard Chartered stated that OLIA is an all-digital trade finance organization and distribution platform that will bring together institutional investors looking to gain exposure to an alternative asset class with business needing access to supply chain financing. And again, if you're a retail investor, knowing that they're going to be bringing on institutional investors, what do you think that's going to do to your investment? Now, if we pull up DBS Bank and Contour to expand the digital trade offerings in Australia, China, Hong Kong, and Singapore, the DBS Bank and Contour have expanded their digital trade offerings to 4 new markets in the APAC region. And then if we keep moving forward, keep in mind the names I'm tossing out at this moment. We just mentioned Contour and obviously the Standard Chartered and OLIA OMS. So the DBS Chartered joins a TradeLens shipping blockchain platform. And now if we get into this, Standard Chartered is also part of several blockchain initiatives across the globe. And we've mentioned a few of those. And the bank is one of the founders of the Voltron letter of credit blockchain, recently renamed as the Contour Trade Finance Network. Now, here's where I'm going to start showing my perspective. We just shown Standard Chartered, and we're explaining throughout these their connection to Voltron, which has now become Contour. So the Standard Chartered and IFFCO blockchain trade finance breakthrough, and this is back into 2019 because you remember Voltron is what it used to be. Contour is what it is. So blockchain trade finance is slowly gathering pace, and the most prominent players in the sector are the Marco Polo Network, Comgo, Voltron, and WeTrade. Yes, there's a lot of other things I can point out through this video, and you might even be seeing them as well, but I'm trying to keep focused on the main theme of tonight's video. So again, HSBC ING-backed letter of credit blockchain Contour launches in Singapore. So today sees the Singapore launch of the trade finance blockchain Contour, formerly known as Voltron. And keep moving forward, we have TradeFinex will be rolled out in phases. If we go straight to number 2, TradeFinex platform as an aggregator of trade finance assets. We are launching the first trades on TradeFinex, and these trades will be settled with legacy financial systems. TradeFinex will work purely as an aggregator for trade assets, and the initial partners will be TradeShift and Finion Exchange. And we are still waiting to integrate with Voltron, R3 Corda, and Comgo, Hyperledger, Besu. So both these platforms are a good origination network, the consortium and banks. TradeFinex aims to connect them. Its middleware built on XDC protocol to aggregate data from various origination platforms for secondary market trades. So there you have it. TradeFinex aims to connect them using its middleware built on XDC protocol. And again, as XinFIn's XDC network selected as the first blockchain company to join the Global Trade Finance Distribution Initiative. Again, that is very recent news, which we've shown. And I again have a little, a few of these highlighted to point them out directly into the article. And again, this is, to me, is a big deal. XDC Network was selected to join the TFD initiative by fintech veteran Andre Casteran. And I believe he has been an amazing asset in regards to XinFIN and XDC. And as he stated, a lot of the partnerships were immediate. They were already connected, and they would be releasing the information over the next few weeks. And we're already seeing the price of XDC hold steady and nearing its all-time high with a little bit of a healthy retracement. And again, even today, I think we're already back up around 15 cents or so. And into the next article from last year, the future of trade finance, again focusing on the trade finance Singapore base, as we mentioned, XinFIN powered by its XDC token and the DeFi protocol TradeFinex. So if you're new to this space, a lot of this information is probably going to be very exciting for you in regards to the next, as I say, upcoming superstar, which is XinFIn's XDC. We already know the global connection of XRP and XLM and massive connections for VeChain's VET being already used in the exclusively as the supply chain in the APAC region for the supply chain market, which is 60% of the global population. So that's massive. And again, one of 2 approved cryptocurrencies in China. So, and again, even going back a little bit, let's just scroll up and see when this was. 2018. The question during a XinFIN community Q&A type thing on medium.com, is there an ETA for the Corda public relay bridge? And we have a meeting with Contour, formerly Voltron, this month in airspace and time to work out a commercial agreement, even back then. So you can see how far they've come already. And then the connections to Contour, which was formerly Voltron, already connecting back to the Standard Charter. And again, this article here, XinFIN connects blockchain factoring tool to QuickBooks, and blockchain company XinFIN is rolling out integration between its invoicing or its invoice factoring application, InFactor, and QuickBooks. So XinFIN announced it's joining the R3 Corda marketplace, which will host several XinFIN enterprise blockchain apps, including its invoice financing solution, and the company will also link corporates to real-time remittance, trade finance, digital asset management, and other financial management apps on R3 Corda. And if we bounce back to the beginning, which I think is very significant as well. Oops, sorry guys, I am just a little bit off there. Where we have R3 Corda now has a bridge to public blockchains with the arrival of Ethereum-based XDC. And again, this was just recently in the past 2 days, so that is still very relevant and very significant. And again, if you hold XDC, you already know probably it's worth, because unless you're catching in on some FOMO, seeing a post, there are not a whole lot of wallets out there, but it is growing. And again, as Andre Casterman continues to release, or XinFIN continues to release as well, the partnerships and the exciting news over the next few weeks, I expect to see the price continue to rise and the FOMO start kicking in as well with XDC. I've held XDC now for a little while, and on my personal journey, I can't see, I can't imagine not having it, as it is, again, as I often say, one of my top 4. So we have wholesale, retail, trade, and supply chain covered in my personal investment with XRP, XLM, XDC, and VET. So again, guys, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. And as always, I want to leave you with a final thought before we go. And when there's a lot of tabs, I apologize if I get a little off track. I try to keep focused, but if you understand how challenging that can be, because your mind starts wanting to keep going into additional connections and partnerships and then other assets, and it can just get out of control. So to keep focus is a little bit of a challenge. So I hope you caught on to that, and I hope you understood clearly where I was headed with that tonight. I think it's extremely bullish, everything that we've shared and everything we see. And again, I hope I shared a little bit of my perspective on my journey as an investor as well. And I think this is very, very exciting times. And I believe, I was a little disappointed to see ISO 20022 get moved out of 2021 into 2022, and thinking that June was a little bit far, but then finding out today it's actually moved a little further into November of 2022 before it's really going fully live with all of its major financial institutions. So again, it's almost like a year delay on where we were initially going to be. But I think, as I've always said, I still believe, assets, for example, like XRP, XLM, their timeline, as we've already seen XDC kind of hit a new all-time high. I believe it will continue, and here's why. As we get into mid-December, if we follow up as we did with the bull run in 2017, I believe we'll see XRP and XLM begin its move to exceed its all-time high and pass its previous all-time high. We had, XLM, I believe, was just under $1, around 95 cents or so. And then we had XRP on different exchanges. It was different pricing, but pretty consistent, was about $3.84. And it started mid-December, kind of overflowed into mid-January of 2018. So I think we're going to see something like that. But I believe as we overflow into the next year and the little speculation begins dying, I believe that's when we're going to collide with utility, and that's where I believe we will grow and probably have consistent growth, probably for a solid year, possibly even a couple of years, the way this is designed. And we'll, obviously watch that and see how it plays out. And either which way, I think this journey is very exciting and has been very fun. I mean, what else are we going to do with our time? And we're enjoying this equally as well. Even though a lot of the regulators continue to push on the volatility of assets, I still see them personally as safer than the stock market. And it's been a lot more fun. As they say, if you can't see through like a 90% drop, you'll never see the 1,000% gains. And those are going to come very quickly when they do. So always be paying attention, but understand, as we've shown on this channel, the 4-year bull run cycle. But again, I think this year we will collide with utility, and it's going to kind of change everything. As we know, the full market maturity and the intent and design is based on 2025. That's when the world is ready to have this thing going full speed ahead. And even as they said in 2019, that we were less than 2% of the global population using cryptocurrency and digital assets. The goal by 2025 was 90% of the global population using the unbanked and underbanked included in that as well, with all of the new digital assets and digital currencies being able to send globally in 3 to 5 seconds with minimal fees. People can literally send pennies without even realizing there was a fee involved. You know, if you're in Germany, you can send it over to Thailand to a rice farm. You could send 10, 15 cents and they would arrive without even noticing the fees. All right, guys, moving back on to our final thought: compromise for your dreams, but never compromise on your dreams. And I think that is amazing advice. And I want to say thanks to Surfmeister, our VIP on Patreon, and to each and every one of you. Much love, and we will catch you in the next one.